Hey guys,
What's happening?
we're back. Josh, Toby, Josh. You know Josh?
Toby.
This week in startups, Josh comes in. Actually, Josh is always here.
I never leave, but what is exciting today is that downstairs we got our little breakout Christmas party happening.
It is, yeah.
Toby was actually affectionately wearing these years before. I thought they looked pretty good on you.
You know what? I'll rock them. Thanks for that.
Nice.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Happy holidays. So, Josh, a lot of fans they noticed last week that you had a haircut. A lot of comments.
I've changed it up a little bit. I hope everyone, thank you. Keep it coming.
But back to the news. So as you know, every Wednesday we do this segment, This Week in Startups. So this week in startups,
I think there's some really cool things happening. Apple.
Yep.
Apple are moving a lot in the industry at the moment.
Yep.
They're doing really cool things. They released the iPhone 10 this year, which
Love it.
Looks incredible. You've got one?
Well, I'm actually shooting on an iPhone 10 right now. And
Quality's great.
Quality is out of control.
Right.
And not even the quality, the lens is one thing. Mm-hmm. And it's not filters, but it's the way they manipulate the lens with the software that's integrated together.
And it works seamlessly. And
incredible.
I love the shutter speed on Apple phones, and it's just, everything's instant. You don't have to wait for anything. I think that's really amazing. So what Apple have actually done, as you know, they're capturing all this facial recognition data as you open your phone.
Yep.
They've said
it's so annoying, by the way.
Really?
I love it. I do love it. But I'll tell you, in the morning, the alarm goes off and I reach for the phone. And I try to turn the phone on, and I can't open my eyes, and so it gives you the haptic tap, no, and I'm like, just give me the pin, so I'll do the pin instead. But I struggle, and it's been quite sunny here this last week, so I've been wearing my sunglasses out, and it doesn't.
No, it doesn't recognize you.
No.
So what they're doing, they're taking this data that they've been collecting.
Yep.
You'll see it maps your face when it.
Yep.
And they'll take this mapping data and they're sharing it with third parties. So is that good? I'm not sure.
So that's very interesting because Tim Cook said that they're not storing the data. Mm-hmm. There's a chip being put into the phone to capture everything for a security standpoint. And one of the reasons why I love Apple is I feel safe. I feel safe that they're not trying to monetize
your personal information,
my stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about that.
So it's pretty interesting. I think it's good in some ways. I mean, when this data is available to the regular startup founder, they can do amazing things with it. You know, developing games and different types of technology and different areas of security that utilize that information to create really cool products.
Yep.
But on the other hand, we could be filmed walking down the street. An advertisement could come up 50 meters down the road, directed at us.
So you reckon the bus station billboard might change?
Yeah, it might be an LED thing or something in the future.
Oh, that's cool.
So maybe more targeted advertising, but it's also a little bit scary, I think, that this kind of information will be available. Though it's randomized, still there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but I do like what Apple has done this week with Shazam. So they're thinking of acquiring Shazam, or they've acquired Shazam. 400
million.
400 bills.
Do you think that equals the value of Shazam?
You know, I was never a consumer of Shazam. I used to be, and we've talked about it a billion times here. I was a consumer of Snapchat, and Snapchat had that feature built in.
Yeah.
But as a standalone app, I didn't like it. I wasn't a user of it. That said, I definitely see the need. I'm often driving down the street when I'm not literally listening to my Apple library, and a song will come on the radio, and I'll be like, "Oh, what is that?" Quickly, just download it, and so I really like what they've done. It'd be interesting how they integrate it all.
Yeah, I think Shazam already has that Siri integration and allows you to use it with voice control. So I think it's really good. But interestingly, I think what this does for Apple, it places them in a really strong strategic position. Because having all this data to understand what people are searching puts them at a really strong starting point to be able to predict what people want to listen to.
Okay.
Increases their predictive technology. I mean, we've seen with Spotify. Do you ever use your Discover Weekly on Spotify?
Don't use Spotify, man.
Don't use Spotify. Apple Music?
I'm Apple Music
You're Apple 150%.
Yeah, because it's native, right? And I mean, Sim, my wife, she uses Spotify. But when I got my Apple TV on, it just plays my music. Like, it's just...
It's all integrated, I understand. So Spotify's done something really cool. They curate 30 songs for you each week based on what you listen to. And I think it's really accurate. After 4 or 5 weeks, it's got really high accuracy at determining what you actually like and helps you discover new and cool music.
So there is a feature inside Apple Music. With that, I'm not trying to bag Spotify. My sister's got her own playlist that my wife plugs into and listens and down. I think that's all cool. Personally, I'm just not there.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm just too extreme on the Apple side of things.
Yeah.
But I love it.
And I think Apple's they made a smart decision taking on Shazam.
Yep.
They have done it before.
Yep.
You know, do you remember 2008, 2009 when we were still using iTunes and having downloaded music?
Yep.
Do you remember clicking shuffle on Apple and it always coming up with really good recommendations, and it had this kind of essence of being predictable but randomized at the same time.
Totally, yep.
And at that time, they actually invested a lot of time and money into developing this technology, and even today, it kind of remains unrivaled. Spotify can't really get it right.
Yep.
You get kind of like back-to-back artists playing similar songs playing, every half an hour or so, and so that's kind of...
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. So I look, I think it's a genius move by Apple. I think it's going to push more people into buying the singles and the albums and this and that, which, by the way, I thought it already did. Like, once I found it, I would then go into iTunes.
Yeah,
but I
so
think
you can still
instant,
do it.
Yeah. Very, very nice play from Apple, in my opinion.
I think it's great. So, moving on, animal-free foods. What does that mean? I mean, a lot of people now are really understanding their global footprint.
Yep.
People are trying to use less plastic, and really also trying to make dietary changes. Me too.
Yep.
But the subject of food is really polarizing. Coming from the US, really big meat consumers.
Yep. By the way, I'm a year free from kidney stones.
Really?
Because I had too much protein in my diet and coincidentally lived in the US as well. So validation on that point.
Validation. So it's no real surprise that...
I like it. I like it for a bunch of reasons. I still crave that chicken or steak. I was actually at an abattoir on Monday.
Really?
In Queensland.
How did that go?
Look, I really like the finished product. I don't like how we get there.
Yeah.
That said, it is what it is. What I like about this is the cleanliness of the product.
Yeah.
As in, we're talking about bio.
So what we're talking about is biotech foods.
Biotech foods, yeah. So I like the fact that we
lab
can get
grown
a really clean product.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, the product that the abattoir that I was at was a kangaroo.
Cool.
And it is,
Kangaroos are an interesting one in Australia.
Yeah.
Because kangaroos are actually, in springtime, they become a pest because there are so many of them.
Yeah.
And so what we do in Australia is one of the only places in the world that we can do it, is we have controlled hunting where we cut down the population size,
right, yep.
but only to a certain extent to make sure that, number one, the animals are healthy, number two, the vegetation is healthy.
Well, I mean, there's a statistic out there right now, specifically in Queensland, that they're growing in plague-like proportions. Anyway, back to the real topic at hand. I saw some kangaroo, and what was super impressive to me was how clean the meat was, because it's grass-fed, it's natural, it roams. They're not
in pens.
And exactly. It's not a cultivated thing. And I was actually really once you get past the fact that there's a kangaroo standing there, well, not standing there, but hanging there, and the muscles and the cleanliness of the meat, real wow. So if we can get there in bio foods,
I think it'll be really cool. And so there's this one startup coming out of California now.
Cali.
And what they're trying to do, they're actually growing bluefin tuna in the lab.
Great.
So what they're really trying to do is they're not trying to say, hey, this is a direct substitute, but they're trying to say, hey, we eat a lot of bluefin tuna in canned forms in our hand rolls when we go down to the local sushi shop. And what we're trying to do is, for those low quality instances of when you're having tuna, let's just replace it with something that is pretty much the same.
Yep.
And decrease the global demand.
Yep.
To help these fish, I guess. Populations grow.
What's interesting in California, there's a health warning, and there's health warnings about swimming pools in California. Like this pool contains chemicals, it's dangerous, and what's called cancer, all the rest of it. California's on a whole different sphere, and probably, I'd say, a large population are watching this. But what I was warned about in California from eating too much fish was the mercury.
Really?
So I think that this turns that off.
So we don't have antibiotics. There's no worry about plastic. We were hearing about microplastics in the ocean now. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So it's a healthier, cleaner, more environmentally friendly alternative. In short, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to something we discussed early on in our vlogging here this week in startups. Is, I sat next to a doctor, LA to San Francisco, and he told me that his kids, which are pretty much the same age as my kids, were going to live to 150. Wow. And I think it's I don't know if they can afford to live to 150, but it's these sorts of things where the toxins and the chemicals that are coming in, even though it's a cleaner animal, or there's less mercury and there's like less toxins in the crap that's going in. Surely.
Stronger us.
Surely.
I think so.
Longevity.
One
more. Where we
One more. So let's just touch on some local stuff that's happened. We had $3.5 million capital raising for an interesting startup. They do security for IoT devices. Not that crazy, but apparently they've found that there are more than 8 billion IoT devices that are unsecure.
Oh, no doubt.
And so they've really been targeting that. They're backed by Rampersand and Mike Cannon-Brooks from Atlassian.
Nice work.
So that's really good.
3.5 mil seed or Series A?
Series A.
Well done, guys.
Very good. We got Taxify.
Okay.
We got an Uber competitor coming in. You're an Uber man.
I'm not there.
You're an Uber man.
Uber are here on our floor. I am Uber to the bone. I'm loyal. So Taxify, good luck. You won't be getting my credit card details.
I like the competition. Toby's on the Uber train.
Have to be.
Last but not least, want to quickly touch on a food accelerator that I was at on Monday.
Yeah.
Some notable presentations that we saw.
Heard.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
We got Farm Wall.
Yep.
Who are really cool. They're using aquaponics, which is the idea that you can have a closed loop system to help chefs grow their own food or microgreens and herbs in their own restaurants.
Wow.
So it's direct to consumer, it's fresher, it's cheaper, and just generally better. Looks good.
Yeah.
So they're really cool, really innovative startup coming right out of Melbourne. We got the Lamb Bacon Co. They were handing out burgers on the night. I didn't eat them because I don't eat meat, but everyone was just commenting on how delicious they are.
Yep.
Pretty much what this lady is doing, she's from a farming family. She found that offcuts of lamb could potentially be used. She started playing around with them, smoked them, and found that they taste exactly like bacon.
Wow.
So she started selling it, going crazy. Middle East is loving it.
Sure.
Bacon is a huge commodity.
Apparently.
And
I don't eat bacon. Oh, you don't eat meat?
I don't eat meat. We're out.
Yep.
And then, last but not least, an awesome startup, Graham. Do you know about him?
I know of it. And the only reason I know of them is they get a boatload of parcels delivered to the front door.
Loves a good parcel.
Yeah.
So Graham is creating a marketplace for coffee roasters and cafes to buy and sell beans, and also standardize the coffee making process.
Ziv Shalev.
Ziv Shalev.
Yeah.
Coffee Innovations. That man is a legend. Shout out to Ziv.
When he's here, I mean, he comes in, he rolls in on a Monday. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? It's Monday. Aren't you supposed to be at the beach? But he's doing some amazing things.
He's doing some awesome stuff.
And we're really happy that he's here under Creative Cube. Under the roof with us at Creative Cubes.
That's it.
Good on him.
Awesome.
I will link all of the details below in the description. Josh, always a pleasure.
Toby, my man. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and a Happy New Year. We got to get back to the Christmas party downstairs. So that's it for this week in startups.